really got to like the Kharnakpa an awful lot.
Yeah.
They had nothing, and then they had everything.
They're known even among the nomads as uncompromising, very goal-oriented. They consistently produce the best pashmina, the best meat, the best animals. They have the best horses. They're the best riders. I mean, that, when I heard that, I thought, yeah, well, every tribe says that. But no, the other tribes admit it, that these guys are really, and they have some very endearing and noble characteristics, like they won't lie, and they won't take anything that isn't theirs, and they'll always tell the truth, the brutal truth, whether you want to hear it or not. They'll point out flaws on you right away. They say, oh, you've got no hair, you know, there'll be that sort of thing. And they're also, they're quick to action. They'll defend themselves very quickly, and they'll talk about it later instead of talking about it first and then deciding what to do. So they have some traits that I sort of in a wild way admire.
The book starts with "I can't move." Did you ever figure out why they decided to move at the middle of the night?
Totally bizarre. No, I asked them that, and they just said it's the way it's always done. But they packed up. I knew they were going to move the next day. They started packing the day before. Some of the tents were coming down in the late evening. They have these yak hair tents that the men weave. They take the coarse hair from the yaks that they have. They have domesticated yaks that they move with. And they weave these panels and then stitch them together and end up with about a 20 by 20 foot enclosed dark yak hair tent. And these are quite heavy, and they take a lot of, you know, it's a fairly big operation to put one up and take one down. It takes a number of hours. So they started to take these down, pack up their possessions, started to bring the yaks in from the distant mountains, load them up. I went to sleep in my own tent, and all night I could hear these tents coming down and people working outside all through the night, pitch black. Now, there's no lights. And at 3 o'clock I'm woken up, time for me to pack up. It's freezing cold, it's totally dark. There's these little dung fires now out in the open because there's no tents up. And I got my tent down with my flashlight, packed my stuff up, and went over to a nomad camp across the little stream from where I was. They took my stuff. I assumed they were tying it on a yak somewhere. And we sat there shivering in the cold. I couldn't see a speck of light in the sky. It was about 4 in the morning. And then a call went out. This call went out across the valley, and everybody just got up and started moving in total blackness, just stumbling around, and everybody had to be ready to go. Even though they're nomads, you'd think, well, this is a kind of a loosey-goosey group, you know, but no, they've got very specific rules on some things, and their governance and so forth, it's very complex, but one of the rules was be ready to go, and everybody goes. Not you don't go before anybody, and you don't go after anybody. Everybody goes together. And then I did this big painting that's in the book of that movement, this thing called nomadic, where out of this darkness, this incredible, like a dark flowing river of life is moving through this valley.
There's a very funny scene, chapter in the book, where you talk about going out to be a shepherd, and I had exactly the same idea of what the life of a shepherd was.
Yeah.
Pretty slack. You stand there with a stick. Basically, you just throw rocks and whittle and no.
It's a grinding day. They're asking often. They start herding at 9 years old, 10 years old. So you're asking this 9 or 10-year-old to walk uphill for 11 hours a day. Be on the lookout for snow leopards and wolves, keep your herd together and get them back safely. Then when you get back, you're milking them and doing other chores when you get back. And these kids, they're just great. They do it with a smile, and they're whistling, and they're not grumbling or complaining.
You describe like a 2-year-old helping mom with the laundry.
Yeah, and they want to do it. They have a saying there, a greeting that I think says a lot about their culture. They say, when you meet somebody, they say "Jule." And "Jule" means, it can mean thank you or hello, goodbye, or good to see you, that sort of thing. But it translates as I worship the God within you. And you get a sense of that with these people, that they really respect that great part of every person, you know. They kind of look right at it, and they want to rejoice in that good part of who you are.
Now, the art you do, you take some photographs, you do some watercolors.
That's right.
But then you come back home and create the finished piece of art. Is that the right term for it?
Yeah, I mean, some of the on-site watercolors I do show and display and sell as finished works of art. But I often use those plus photographs and drawings and other research that I'll do when I get back if I have a particular idea to develop a larger body of work. That usually goes into sort of three different areas. One are canvases painted with oil, some of which I'll texture. The other is watercolors, sort of a studio version of some of the on-site watercolors, usually figurative works and bigger pieces. And the other one is a combination of etching. I've been a printmaker all my life, all my professional life. And I've developed this method of combining watercolors with etchings.
The book is Wild Places, Wild Hearts, Nomads of the Himalaya. I've been speaking with the artist and writer Allen Smutylo. And Wild Places, Wild Hearts is published by the Tom Thompson Gallery.